Boaz. And I speak to you as a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. You just heard from my father, so his parents are Holocaust survivors. And here you see a picture of my family during World War II in Bulgaria, 1942, that you're going to see in a second. And my grandfather, Nisim in Hebrew means miracles, is on the top left with the hat. But I'm not only talking to you as a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, but I'm also talking to you as third generation Israeli. The struggles to survive through World War II, and then to immigrate to the land of our forefathers, were far from the only difficulties faced by the people of our nation. In many ways, they were a sign of more trials to come. Here you see a picture of my grandmother, Rivka. She was 15 and then 16 years old in the Haganah, where she had to learn to defend her Jewish community even before the state of Israel was born and established in 1948. Then you see my grandfather Nisim in 1949, who was straight away enlisted to the IDF, Israel Defense Force, because 5 armies invaded Israel: Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Iraq. But it didn't stop there. You see here another few pictures. One picture in the middle is my father, who you just heard. Here you see him in the First Lebanon War in 1982. And then you see my mother and I with the gas masks in the Gulf War, 1990. I was only 2.5 years old. And these are also the first memories of myself as a child, was in the Gulf War. And then you also see me in the IDF, in the Second Lebanon War in 2006. From the War of Independence until the War of Iron Swords today, we Israelis had to defend our land in order to ensure our survival. The horrific events of October 7th, 2023, on the holiday of Simchat Torah, changed the face of the state of Israel. In Israeli society, this day will forever be remembered. On that day, there was on Shabbat, not only a holiday of Simchat Torah, exactly a year from today. And at 6:30, my husband and I woke up from the sirens that started. We jumped out of our beds, we ran to the children's room, we grabbed our 2 children, and we ran to safety, to the bomb shelter. I remember once we were in the bomb shelter looking at my husband saying, where are the rockets coming from? Are they coming from the south? Are they coming from the north? Are they coming from the east, from the west? That's how shocked I was, and everybody who woke up that morning. At that moment, we didn't know, but something indeed was wrong. But nothing could have prepared us as a nation or a people of the horrific events and the horrors of that day. In the beginning of the war, my daughter was 4 years old, and my son was 18 months old. And as we're running to shelters, it's already been a year now, but in the beginning, my daughter looked at me and she said, "Ima, what are we going to do if the bad people come and kill us?" She was 4. I looked at her, I said, "Hadass, Right now, we're doing the best thing that we can do to keep us safe. We're in the bomb shelter. After that, we're going to have to trust God. That He will take care of us. That He will be our refuge and our strength. And then she said, "Oh, Ima, it's like that song we sing." I said, what song? She started singing in the bomb shelter, and I joined her. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. Amen. Everybody helped and is helping until this day in this war, in the war effort. It has affected our entire life. Here you're going to see a picture of me. I volunteer with Search and Rescue with Home Front Command. That's why I'm also on call right now. And I've been called up a few times to help. With the searching when there's shrapnel that falls or when there's a direct hit, then I'm trained to go help take care of that. So we decided that every time, well, for me as a mother, and I have young children as you saw, it was really hard for me to know that there were sirens and there could be a siren any minute. And here I'm leaving them and I'm going to help where I'm needed right now. But my daughter, she said, "Oh, Ima, I've got a great idea." I said, "What, Tadas?" She said, "Every time we have to go, this is how we'll part. We'll say, remember, God is our hiding place. Whenever we are afraid, we will trust in God." And you know, every time there was a siren, even if I was out, my daughter would run to me and say, "Ima, Ima, I remember, whenever I'm afraid, I'm going to trust in God." The mouth of babies. But you see, not only have we had rockets, drones, missiles, ballistic missiles coming at us, fired from Hamas, Hezbollah in the north, Houthi from Yemen, later on even Iran. But we've also had infiltrations of terrorists into Israel, and not only on the 7th of October, but throughout this year. And there's one terrorist attack that's personal to me, because it happened in my hometown. It happened on January 15, 2024. 2 terrorists came in and attacked using cars and knives. They managed to kill 1 elderly woman and wounded 18, including children. In a matter of minutes, I got a message from the municipality on my phone saying there was a terrorist attack in my community. I got a phone call from my husband saying that he was in uniform in pursuit of the terrorists. And then I got another message from the kindergarten teachers saying that they had to lock the kindergartens and lock them in a secure location because the terrorists were outside where the kindergartens were. And then another message from the municipality telling the parents, don't come to this area and get your children because it's a dangerous zone. And I remember at that moment just being in the living room and crying out to God to protect them, because there was nothing I could do to protect, you know, for me as a wife, knowing that my husband was in pursuit and knowing that both of my babies were in the area where the terrorist attack was happening, I felt helpless that I couldn't do nothing. But again, I knew I could trust God. And so when everything was finished and we got a message saying that we could come back and retrieve our children, I entered the kindergarten, and then the kindergarten teacher stopped me, and I was like, "Oh no, something happened?" She says, no, you don't understand, something amazing happened. She said, "Your daughter started singing this song in the kindergarten." A different one, I'll sing it as that. And none of us knew this song. And it's a beautiful song. I want you to send it to me. And she started teaching all the girls this song. I was like, well, what song did she sing? And she said, well, it went something like this. It's a worship song that we sing. The keeper of Israel, no slumber, no sleeps. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. And if we can get that picture of the girls in the bomb shelter before, Evan, Atuna. For me, that's a reminder. They're singing, proclaiming that once there's chaos outside, praying that the keeper of Israel nor slumbers nor sleeps. For me, it's also a picture of if God can use my 5-year-old to worship God and praise His name and even get comfort to the ones around her, how much more so can He use me, use you? This war is like no other war I have ever experienced. Being born and raised in Israel, I've lived through wars and conflicts since I was 2.5 years old, as you saw. But you have to understand that the level of fear, pain, grief, and brokenness in the atmosphere is something I have never encountered before. Every family in Israel has been affected by what has happened. Our nation and people are heartbroken. But even in this, I know that God's promises for Israel are forever. I know that the keeper of Israel nor slumbers nor sleeps. And His promises don't change because of circumstances, as is His love. It does not change in time of war, and does not change even in time of brokenness. His love is forever. And this is another story that this is the first time that I'm sharing, because it's very, very fresh. Because this happened on October 1st. 2024, just recently. And I was debating if I should share this, just because it's really, really fresh. But I feel like it's important that you hear this. So I'm talking about when Iran sent over 180 ballistic missiles into Israel. So on a personal note, as I said before, I'm on the search and rescue team, and I work the war room. And I got a call saying, we need you to come in now to the municipality to run the war room, thinking that we had more time. And so when that happens, I usually grab my kids. My son is 2 now, my daughter is 5. And I usually bring them to my parents' home, and then I go to where I need to go. But what happened was that on the middle of the high road, the main road, we got the first alert on our phones to be close to shelters because the attack was going to happen in a few minutes. And I was near any shelter at all. And I had to make literally seconds of decisions. What am I going to do? And I remember just proclaiming Psalms 91 over me in the car. Oh God, please let me make the right decisions now. And so I started to, and then I thought, okay, I'm not too far from my sister. Let me try and get to her, see if I can. So I'm on my way to her. The sirens start. So I get my kids out. There's no shelters anywhere. I actually had an Arab family next to us with small children as well. And the parents put their kids, and I put my kids on the floor, and we use ourselves as human shields over our kids. I looked up, and usually you see 1 or 2 or 3. But I remember seeing like 20 or 30 missiles right above us. And there was a hit not far from us where the cars were. And because of the impact, my daughter got slightly injured. In this moment, there was a small little break. And they told us people try and get into this town that's next was very, very dangerous. Thank you. So I quickly put my kids in. I'm able to get to the entrance of this of the town where my sister is from. Siren goes off again. Then we were able to find this tube of metal concrete thing. And I ran with my children to there, finding that there was actually more families there, and there were some young adults, and there wasn't enough room for everybody. So the young adults came out so that I could go in with my kids, and they were just on the floor. And then an elderly woman that was in the tube with us, she started saying, because the kids were crying and my daughter also was slightly injured, like I said, there's nothing I could do at that moment. And she started saying, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim. And because it was a tube, it echoed through the whole tube. And all of us started saying that. And there were impacts, there were shrapnel falling all around us. Oh, sorry, they were saying, quoting, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." Crying out to God in that little tube. And then the soldiers came and they said, "Listen, it's not over. It's not safe here because you still get from the impact, you get shrapnel and stuff. Try and get to one of the homes." And I looked, I was like, well, my sister lives not too far, so we'll try and reach her. The best thing for you, the safest, is to be in a bomb shelter right now. So I grabbed the kids. I mean, I go really, really fast. They're not seat belted. I passed the first roundabout, another siren. At that moment, I did not know if I would make it. Because the most you have is a minute and a half. That's the most. There's some places that only have a few seconds. And then I decided I just felt like I need to continue. And so while I'm driving, I'm sending a message of voice audio to my sister telling her to open the door. I didn't even know if the message went through. And I'm rushing, and she is 7 months pregnant with 3 little ones. She said all of a sudden she saw the message went through because the cell service wasn't still working, and she all of a sudden saw a message, heard me. She left her children in the bomb shelter, went out to the street. While the siren was going on, she saw a car, and she said, "I bet that's my sister." So she started counting the seconds. I literally stopped the car in the middle of the street. I think I even left the keys in the ignition. I jumped out. I was able to get my son, my daughter, and then my daughter was stuck in the car, and then my sister, who's 7 months pregnant, grabs her. We run into the home, to the bomb shelter. We close the door. Second later, there was shrapnel that fell the street over. And so the reason I'm sharing you this, because I want you to know that God is hearing your prayers. And I know you're hearing a lot on the news and a lot on the media, but I know that in every place and every level that I was, during October 1st.
在10月1号的时候，
God kept me alive
神保
and
护
my
我，
kids
让
alive
我
because
活
of
过
your
来，
prayers.
因着你们的祷告，
And so I'm asking that
主
you
们，请你们
continue,
继续，
that you stand with us for such a time as this.
你们跟我
And
在
even
一
if
起
you
在这
don't
个时刻，
understand
虽
what
然你
you're
不明
praying
白
or
你们在
or
祷
the
告什
impact
么，
of it,
这
I'm here
影
to
响
tell
祷告的
you
影响力，
that God
我在
is
告诉
hearing
你
your
们，神在听你
prayers
们的祷告，
and that I am an answer
我就是
of
你们
those
祷告
prayers.
的回应。
Thank you. 真的。
谢谢。